Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Merciful Mornings. So glad you're here. In case you're new, hi, I'm Rachel. This is the place you want to come for education, encouragement, and support for online teaching and also just daily life. Today, I'm so excited because one of the questions I've been getting more recently, I think because it's more popular and more asked for lately, is how do I do one-on-one tutoring on Outschool? So I've been on the hunt, right? Like I'm searching, how do we do one-on-one tutoring on Outschool? I found you someone. So today we are talking with Alejandra. I'm so excited to hear from her because this is her thing. This is what she does. And so we're going to ask all the good questions, get you all the good answers. If you have some after the fact, be sure you drop them in the comments because we want to get those answered for you. So without further ado, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, your whole life story, whatever you want to share.
Okay, well, thank you for having me today. Like she said, my name is Alejandra. I have been an Outschool teacher. I'm about to hit a year, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, it is.
And I love tutoring on Outschool. And just really quick, I feel like the main reason I love doing it so much, or I have enjoyed it, is that I really feel like it improves your bookings. I feel like she has been getting a lot of questions, and I have been getting a lot of questions as well, that people feel like they're a little bit in a slump or really don't know what to do because their enrollments are a little bit lower than they'd like. And tutoring on Outschool is a great place to start if that might be your situation. So love Outschool.
Yay, me too. And there are lots here who do. So we've got some questions. I've gathered from the masses their questions about what this looks like, how it works, all the things. Now, obviously, if you are teaching independently online, different platforms, it's going to work differently. So today we are just addressing Outschool teachers and how to do that one-on-one thing. So what do you think are good subjects and ages for this kind of thing? Is it just kind of a free for all, or what do you think about that?
Well, I can definitely say I think there's potential for any subject. I mean, it is Outschool, and if you are an Outschool teacher, you probably know that they really push like teaching your passions. So that's exactly what I personally do for my tutoring as well. So I was a kindergarten teacher before, so I really focus on like those kindergarten, first grade, sometimes even second grade skills. But I have talked to other teachers. I know I was talking to another teacher the other day, and she does violin lessons. So there's
Awesome.
a potential for so many different subjects. You just really have to think about, what do you like to teach? And then even maybe, what are you qualified, or what do you have experience teaching?
Yes, I love that. Stay in your lane. I preach that all the time because people think, well, this is popular, I'll teach this, but if it's not your thing, that's not where you want to be because you've got to feel good about what you're doing too. So I love that. So if it's your thing, you can probably be doing it in a one-on-one setting on Outschool
Mhm.
because it's all available. Awesome. Okay, before we even touch this next question, I'm throwing out my disclaimer. Alejandra and I are not legal experts and we will not be giving legal advice today. You've heard me say this before, okay? But the question always comes up about copyright issues when teaching online. What resources can you use? This is not legal advice. This is personal choice that we're discussing right now. Go do your copyright research before you make any decisions for your online teaching. Alejandra, what do you do for this situation for your class?
Okay. So for me personally, since like I said, I was a kindergarten teacher in the past, I have a pretty good idea of some resources I've used in the classroom. So I generally recreate a lot of activities and stuff I've done previously. And then sometimes, a few times, I have actually reached out to teacher pay teacher creators and asked them specifically, can I use this resource for one student, two students, five students, for tutoring on Outschool? So I'm
Love it.
very specific, because sometimes the creators don't mind you using it for a few students, but they don't want you to use it to focus on like a whole class on Outschool
Right,
or something like that. So
right.
that's my take on it. That's what I do.
Love it. Love it. Yes. If in doubt, ask. Always ask. I love that. And then another one I get asked a lot is, you do a lot of tutoring is for kids who are in school, they need the extra assistance. So do you go by like state standards when you're doing this? Does it depend on the kid? How do you address that?
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the kid because for me personally, I make every single tutoring session personalized. So usually the parent will tell you, I want them working on reading, I want them working on science. They'll give you an idea. And then I've even had parents say, I want Common Core standards. So usually they give you a pretty good idea of what they want. If it's maybe a subject I'm not 100% sure on, like science, I haven't taught in a while. So I would actually go to my district. So I live in Florida. So I just look at the Florida standards and I base my lessons off of that. So either thinking about what I've done in the past or using resources, use Common Core or use something in your district to give you an idea of what you can teach, kind of like a guide. So you're not all over the place.
Right. So it's not that you have to meet certain standards. You're not teaching to the standards like they do in the classroom, but you have a guide on the skills that they need to work on that way. What's age appropriate at least.
Exactly.
So you have something to go by. Awesome. And then we talked a little bit about you create your own stuff, you use some from teachers. So is there any particular curriculum that you're like, this is my jam, or do you just kind of see where the kid's at and what they need? How do you put your stuff there?
I kind of see, like I said, my lessons are personalized. So every time I have finished tutoring a student, I take like 2 to 5 minutes and kind of write down how I think they did. And that will kind of help me decide, do I want to keep going? Did they struggle a little bit? So not to say that it's common sense, but you have to reflect a little bit to figure out.
Yes, yes. It's not just show up, teach, show up the next time. You got to keep track of where they're at. So with that, with monitoring their progress, has there been a situation where you have to like report to the parents, this is what they're doing, how they're doing, or do you just kind of keep track of that for yourself as a teacher?
So I haven't had any parents yet ask, but I can say sometimes I will give them updates. So sometimes, like if a student is doing really, really well, I might say so. Like I just had one student and she's doing really, really well with addition, and that's what mom wanted me to focus on. I'm like, she's kind of doing great with that. Is there another skill you want us to practice? Do you want me to make it a little more challenging? So I get feedback from the parents, and I think it's just like if you were in the classroom, just regular updates is good. But it
Right.
will depend from parent to parent if they want all those updates, if they don't want it.
Right. It's definitely, I feel like, especially the one-on-one is a situation where you need to maintain that parent communication of this, they're letting you know what they want worked on. You're letting them know how it's going. Where would you like to go from here? It seems like a really crucial component of that type of class. So, okay, specific to Outschool, this is what I get asked quite often. How do you even set it up? When you go to offer or request a listing, you have to say this is a one-time class or an ongoing or multi-day. How do you list your tutoring classes?
Okay, so for me personally, I've always started it as an ongoing class. So I will have a few listed, and then a parent, honestly, most of the time parents ask for a different time. But I have a few open slots, and then the student is able to enroll. And then once they are done, I will cancel that section and open a whole new one. But I do it all through ongoing classes. Like it's an ongoing class section, and each student will have their own ongoing class section. I can say though, I've seen people do like a one-time class, that it's like a trial. You do a one-time class and then afterwards you transition into ongoing, but ongoing was fine for me. One listing, and it's just been
Yeah,
fun.
that's an interesting idea, just to offer this is a one-time trial class to see if you'd like to continue with tutoring. That's an interesting idea. I like that. It's kind of got that funnel feel to it. If you like this, come try this. But that's neat that it's worked out. Now, do you have to completely, when they, sign up for that class, do you have to completely cancel that section, or can you just change the dates and times? The little red X where we
You
have you
could, you definitely could. So you
either
could
way.
I just do it because then it counts as one class complete and that shows up on your thing because that's a student complete. And then sometimes I like to switch my schedule around. So maybe that time wasn't my favorite. So I'm going to switch to another time. Because like I said, most of the time, at least in my experience, parents are asking for certain times. So I'll open that time if it works for me, and then it might not be my favorite time. So I'll close it later.
Gotcha. So interesting. Okay, so ongoing classes, and that makes sense because that gives the parents and kids consistency too, same time and day every week, and you just go as long as you need it, and then you're done. So I like that a lot.
Mhm.
All right, let's see what else. Make sure we get everybody's questions. Have you noticed good times? You mentioned like you prefer a certain time or the parents ask for a certain time, but is there a good time for one-on-one classes? Like after school or before school, or what have you noticed with that?
I can say like during the summer last year, or it was more of like like September when, I mean, the pandemic was still going on. So I had times everywhere.
Right.
Right now, I can say most of my tutoring is either in the evening or afternoon evening. And then I used to have 1 or 2 on Saturday. I'm not doing any currently in the mornings. And of course, it's not to say that they're not available, but
Right.
I honestly think any time could work. But of course, you want to keep in mind that there's probably a lot of students in school. So those evening after school hours, I would think may do better in comparison to other times.
And I guess it also depends where you are, where the students are. If you're geared towards US students and that's where your focus is, yes, after school evenings for US time. But we do have a global community too. So if you're looking to reach kids in Australia or China, there's a lot of options there. So you're right. I think any time could work, but US times that probably works best. Okay, this is the big one. You ready? This is the biggest, most frequently asked question. Dun, dun, dun. Let's talk about money. Let's just talk about the money. What do you recommend for pricing these classes? Because one of the greatest things about doing these small group classes is you can set a low price, but then you get multiple students. So you're getting a lot more bang for your buck. But now you've only got one student. How do you price that?
Okay, so obviously this is going to be a personal preference. And I'm going to share what I do. So
Yes. Again, we are not giving financial advice here. This is personal choice.
And I mean, if you look throughout school listings, you can see the price range is huge for tutoring sessions. But what I do, I know I am a qualified teacher, and that's what I teach. So I know that I am worth something.
Yes.
So generally, I remember professors telling us, generally speaking, it's about $1 a minute. But Outschool does take out a portion. So I personally charge $40 because I'm spending 30 minutes with the students, and I spend about 10 to a half an hour, just depending, creating their lesson or reflecting on what we have to do. So
Right.
I feel like that's enough. After Outschool takes it, I make 28 per 30 minutes, which is good after, what is that, 28 times 2? 54 or something, 56?
Yeah.
Something like that per hour, which is still good. I mean, it's not the most lucrative because my ongoing classes, I definitely make more if I have more students.
Right.
But like I said, tutoring has such good potential, and I feel like it's a great place to start. And you can
and you build those relationships, right?
Yes.
And a lot of those kids want to come back. I know I've had kids, I may have one in a one-time class, and then they come back and take another one. They come back and take another one. So it's good you're more able to build those relationships in that one-on-one setting that they can be repeat customers too. So awesome. Okay. If people want to contact you directly, if they're like, I just need to hear more from Alejandra, I just need to know, I need to pick her brain, how do people get a hold of you?
Okay, so 2 main, well, I guess I should say 3 main. If you really want to email me, you can. I try to go to my email, but emailing is very professional if you need help. But if you have like a quick question, Instagram is probably the easiest way because I like to do voice memos. So I'll just say something really, really quick. That's the easiest. And I am on YouTube. I try to respond to any comments. I try to do as much as I can.
Yes, and I will leave all the links, all of that will be down in the description. So if you want to connect with Alejandra, do it. I'm a big proponent for like sliding into those DMs on Instagram. I love connecting and talking with people, and I love you can do those voice messages. It makes it so easy. So Be sure you find her. If you're not already subscribed here, first of all, why not? Second of all, do it because you don't want to miss stuff like this when amazing people come on this channel and share their wisdom with us. And if this was helpful for you, be sure you like it, share it with anybody else who needs this information. Thanks so much for coming on here. This was so awesome.
Thank you.
I learned some, I love having people on because I always learn things. Like just
Yeah,
always.
you see things from a different perspective.
Yeah, and I'm nerdy like that. I just like to keep learning things. So thank you so much and see everybody in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.